welcome to another episode of Anything But Authentic. Today, we'll be making boozy, creamy, custardy, and very festive eggnog tart. Let's start with making the eggnog custard. In a medium saucepan on medium heat, add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, half a cup of granulated sugar, and half a cup of brown sugar. Bring the mixture to a simmer, stirring until the sugar dissolves. When the cream starts to bubble, take it off the heat and let it cool for a couple of minutes. Then, in a medium bowl, whisk together 4 large egg yolks. Afterwards, gradually whisk in the cream mixture. Since we're not making scrambled eggnog tart, I highly recommend you to whisk in the cream a little at a time to make sure the egg yolks don't get cooked. Then add 2 tablespoons of dark rum, 1 teaspoon of brandy, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and a pinch of salt. Mix until everything is well combined, then set it aside. If you like your tart to be a bit more boozy, feel free to add more alcohol. Just make sure you don't go outside afterward and get run over by reindeer grandma. You can also omit the alcohol if that's not something you're into. The world is your oyster. Then we move on to the puff pastry. I highly recommend you to just look for a prepared sheet of puff pastry from your local supermarket. It's much easier to deal with and tastes just as good. Anyways, unroll the puff pastry dough and gently roll it out with a rolling pin into a rectangle shape. Then, use a tart shell as a guide to cut out your dough. I was particularly lazy, so I decided to cut them into rectangles. But if you're fancy, feel free to trace and cut the dough into circles. After tracing and cutting out the dough, place it into your tart shells. If you have any excess dough, feel free to form up the scraps into a ball. Roll it out and continue using the rest of the dough. Also, if you only have large tart or pie shells, feel free to use that instead. It tastes just as good. Finally, fill it with the eggnog custard. If you have any extra eggnog custard, feel free to pour them into a ramekin and make some delicious eggnog creme brulee as a treat to yourself. After all, you've earned it. After all the custard is poured into the tart shells, bake them in a 350 degrees Fahrenheit preheated oven for around 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, take them out, and there you have it.